Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam Show. Turn it up.
What's going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? All right, let's jump right into it. Late start today. Let's get right into it. We're already racking up the numbers, so thank you so much for everybody. I'll have a little bit of time for questions at the end. Be sure to share the link, repost. Hit up YouTube, log on YouTube. Do all those fun things. Go to YouTube and subscribe. Let's hit up those likes. I want to see those likes up and at them. We're going to talk about the IWC today. So yeah, we're going to have some fun with that. So of course I got to break things down psychologically, and so we're going to make some sense out of this. We're going to talk about the psychology of focus groups. And then how that ties into the IWC. So, ladies and gentlemen, 669, let's go. Be sure to share the link, hit those likes on YouTube. As always, thank you so much for joining us on Pancakes and Powerslams Show. We're going to have some fun as always. Let's go. All right, I see those numbers going up. Yeah. See those numbers going up. Let's go. Hey, keep it going, y'all. Share the link. Oh, you stink. Hey. Yeah. Yep, keep those numbers going up. Hit those likes on YouTube. Let's go. Let's boost these algorithms up, man. Sub on YouTube if you haven't yet. Sub on YouTube if you have not done that yet. Yes, you can join Patreon. We will get to you in a moment. Yeah. Share the link, y'all. Share the link. Let's go. Hey. Share the link, y'all. Let's get these numbers up. Let's go. All right, I see some sharing. Y'all. I see some reposting going on. I see some links going up, reposting going up. See these numbers bumping up. Let's go. Fantastic, y'all. As always, appreciate. Let's get some more reposts. You're looking at it right now. Just repost it. Boom. All right, let's keep getting these numbers up. All right, y'all. Thank y'all as always. We're going to have some fun talking about focus groups, talking about the IWC. Let's break this down from a scholarly, psychological perspective. All right. So what is going on with this daggone IWC? Let's make sense out of it from a professional and from a outside of the IWC standpoint. So class today will be about the IWC. So let's start off with the concept of what's called a focus group. I've used this on a Sports Keto with the SK Nation. I call them my focus group. It's not really a focus group. It's just a bunch of people giving their opinions, but at the same time, it's very, for the most part, I mean, PNP is like the most relaxed, a whole vibe, chill. Sometimes, there's differing opinions, but we just vibe over here. We just have a really good time and just chill. we just chill over here, man. So I love it. But when it comes to a lot of platforms and things like that, when it comes to pro wrestling, it can be, it just can become very vile. And so let's break that down. Why does it become that way? Let's break down the psychology of that. So a focus group is defined by Merriam-Webster dictionary as a small group of people whose response to something is studied to determine the response that can be expected from a major population. So oftentimes with recruiters, there's actually, focus groups is huge for many things. There's a focus group as a form of qualitative research when it comes to academic studies. A lot of the actual focus group origin actually came from an academic study. I believe the person's name is Emery Bogardus back in 1926. He used it as group interviews and as psychological research to develop social distance scale. And it was actually a school. He's used school students. And so it goes back a long time when it comes to the focus groups are concerned. It's oftentimes used in an academic setting at first, and then it started around the 1950s. It started to become really, really heavy when it came to market research, and the focus group was oftentimes used as like a quick type of way to gauge views and opinions of a smaller group to kind of launch something and see how they're going to launch it and when they're going to launch it and things like that. They get a lot. I've been in several focus groups. They're actually pretty fun, and they pay you for it too. And so it's pretty fun actually. And we just sit around, and for a few hours we sit around. We get presented a product. And there's different types of focus groups. There's two types of focus group, and this was actually coined, or this is actually according to David Morgan. He's a prominent focus group researcher. There's a structured focus group that really deals with. I've been in both actually. The structured focus group is like, here's the product, here's more of a guided way. I'm going to ask you questions, open-ended questions. I want feedback, but it's more of a direct and guided approach. A less rigid or less structured focus group tends to do more of just like an open-ended, less direct, less guided. It's more just kind of open to the group to really have more input. The moderator talks less actually and gives questions available for the focus group to talk about themselves. So Dr. Monique Hennick of Emory University, she says this. She says, a successful focus group discussion relies heavily on the development, she says this, the development of a permissive, non-threatening environment within the group where the participants can feel comfortable to discuss their opinions and experiences without fear that they will be judged or ridiculed by others in the group. And now, so she's really big on like public health, social psychology. And so she's been around for a while as far as just she's a very prominent voice when it comes to just the public health and focus groups. She's written many things on focus groups. And she said interestingly, she said, without being judged or ridiculed by others and without fear. So that is the concept of a focus group. And another important part understand is, since focus groups are viewed to be akin to a natural social interaction between people, the environment of focus groups may be more comfortable and enjoyable for the research participants. And so the idea of a focus group is to have a comfortable setting, enjoyable. Sometimes it can be a bit nervous, because you are being a huge voice, oftentimes even in a launch of a product, or just kind of there's some markets that are trying to make some pivots in many ways, and so they ask, have you do you have a car that's older than or younger than a 2018 or something like that, or do you use Dove soap, like anything that there's so many different products. There's thousands and hundreds of thousands of products. And so focus groups oftentimes with products and with market research and even academic research, like I said before, I have my PhD dissertation was a qualitative approach. And with qualitative studies, oftentimes focus groups are used for a qualitative approach. And so both academic and market, they both focus groups is very, very important, very, very prominent information. And so, yeah, it's really interesting as far as the focus group is concerned. It's very beneficial and it's very helpful actually to forward a product. It's supposed to be that. It's not saying that everybody has the same type of opinion, or even in many focus groups, it's not about like, let's reach a general consensus about something. Let's kind of like hammer. It's not like a jury deliberation. It's not like you going into a room with the jury's concerned to decide if a person's guilty or not guilty. When you're amongst a jury, you have to go into a room. You have to talk for hours and sometimes days for everybody to come to a consensus of if this person is guilty or not guilty. That's not a focus group. A focus group just really respectfully gets the opinions and the other people. And again, I've experienced it. It's a very respectful environment. We're in a room. Oftentimes, actually, every time I've been in a focus group, I've been in a room, and it's in a conference room. It's oftentimes is kind of intimate, and they'll ask us questions, and then somebody will say, yeah, I like this, and I think this is great because of blah blah blah. Another person will say, I wasn't a big fan because of blah blah blah. They'll take the reasons why, they'll analyze it all, and then they'll come and say, okay, well, we appreciate your feedback. They really pay attention to that feedback of whether it should go this way, go that way, and it's really pivotal. But here's the issue. The issue is the IWC, definitely, the internet wrestling community definitely is a complete opposition to discuss. Participants can feel comfortable to discuss their opinions and experiences without fear that they will be judged or ridiculed by others in a group. That is definitely not the IWC. That is definitely not the toxic culture of pro wrestling on social media. It's definitely not making someone feel more comfortable and enjoyable for the participants and for the overall experience. The IWC, or the internet wrestling community, is not that. It's definitely not that. The IWC is defined by the Urban Dictionary, and keep those numbers up. Less than 20 minutes, almost 200. So let's continue to keep those numbers, bump those numbers up. So thank you so much already. Yep, more to it, more there, almost there. So of course you'll get a congratulations when you get there. So continue to share and repost, and let's hit these Twitter. Let's hit these YouTube likes up. Subscribe on YouTube, y'all. Let's since we're all about breaking thresholds, we're almost at a threshold on YouTube. So be sure to subscribe there. The IWC is defined by the Urban Dictionary as a group of pro wrestling smart fans. I'm going to read this whole thing. This is hilarious. A group of pro wrestling smart fans that spend the majority of their life in message boards or wrestling chat rooms. They usually tend to argue with women and children, extremely pathetic in nature, and pose an arrogant attitude. People of the IWC are generally social rejects that tend to over 200, y'all. Great job. That tend to fit extremely well with the typical suburban high school geek or misfit. However, the ones that are much older will tend to have facial hair and appear ungroomed. That is not my definition. That is the Urban Dictionary's definition of the internet wrestling community of this taboo phrase called the IWC, which has been coined for a long time within the pro wrestling community. It's been around 20 years at least. That's when like the IWC really started to become a thing, and it's expanded, and it's got much worse lately as far as just so many things. I remember Eddie Kingston recently, probably a few years ago, because of some situations, he decided to get off Twitter completely. He was in an interview. He said he's done. He's getting off Twitter because of just the toxicity. And there's other people, wrestlers who said the same thing. Al Snow, he said something about wrestling fans, and so like a lot of wrestlers despise the internet wrestling community as far as just any type of voice. And definitely not a focus group. The IWC is not whatsoever. It's a horrible focus group when it comes to pro wrestling in general. It absolutely differs from it because the IWC's opinions are oftentimes uncouth. They're oftentimes vitriolic. They're oftentimes disgraceful. And the WWE is looking at this fickle nature, this uncouth nature, and they're not looking and trying to find information as far as movements are concerned. Mostly their movements come from they'll find a trend that comes within a hashtag movement. We've noticed that before. I've talked about that previously on my show and what the psychology is behind that. But oftentimes crowds, Kofi Mania, Yeselmania, WrestleMania. That's what I said. That's what I was. I think it was the day or yesterday or something like that, or the day before. I was thinking of. I'm sure that they're probably going to have some type of saying. So you heard it here first, since the Jey Uso stuff. I didn't. So speaking of focus groups, let me even talk about this real quick within my personal thing, and we'll get back into the psychology of it. So the reporting, I love being a reporter. I love reporting breaking news. All that stuff is really fun. So here's the thing when it comes to the IWC as a focus group. All right. So this is what I've even experienced. I really started late last year, probably 5 months ago or something like that. Around maybe even 6, somewhere around there. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do something fun. I'm all about humble hustle right here. What are ways to expand my portfolio? Okay, great. A way of expanding my portfolio is to use my resources to report inside news. I was like, okay, I think this is fun. I think I'll do this. I think I'll expand my portfolio. Mama needs some new pair of shoes type of deal. It's one of those things. And so I'm all about making money, man, finding ways to make money. And I've been a hustler for all of my life. Again, I've said before, I do credit to my grandmother, my late grandma. She was a huge hustler. So I was like, yeah, you know what, man, I think this is a good way to expand my brand and to monetize this. And so I did. I monetized it great. I ended up getting a pretty hefty bonus, a pretty hefty extension on my contract. And so yeah, it was really cool, man. I was like, you know what, man, let's do this X thing. Let's do this Twitter thing. When it comes to reporting news, I use Twitter as the platform to break news instead of like Facebook or anything like that, just because to me, my how my schedule is, Twitter is more um accessible to post and hop on out, because a lot of times I'm posting like in the morning, in a little bit, because I got to prep myself mentally as far as my day is concerned. As far as a therapist, I'll find a lunchtime while I'm eating or something like that, and a couple spots within the day I'll get some information, I'll report it. I was like, yeah, that's a fun thing for me to do. I'll go ahead and do these things, and I'll do this, and it's a nice little dopamine kick in my long day of therapy. And so I was doing those things. And so I've even noticed in the past few months of like the inconsistencies within the base of people, right? And so that's the reason why I'm funneling a lot of people, my followers on Twitter, to make it more of like, look, it's more of a support base, more of a followers of people who really respect my work, because I don't really care. I have no room for followers who don't respect my work. And so I have noticed some things within people. Some people like spoilers, some people don't like spoilers. So I paid attention to those things. A lot of people don't like spoilers. And so that's the reason why I started putting warning signs. And then people didn't like the warning signs. And then some people wanted me to DM me, wanted me to DM them for spoilers. And so I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to spend more time doing that. So I created a paywall for spoilers, and then that spread, and people didn't like that either. I was like, okay, so I'm not the type of person that just goes back, and I'm a Sigma male. So for those who study a Sigma male, like I march to be my own drum, or a lone wolf type of thing. I really don't get into trends or anything like that. It's just I don't have any desire to do that. So I just don't go bouncing back and forth on people's opinions. But I do get a collective type of voice from people who I know who want to see me, who really respect what I do. Case in point, I was interacting with sources during the Royal Rumble, wanted to know some backstage stuff, was told that Randy Orton wasn't backstage. I reported right before the Royal Rumble. Even people who were supporting me was like, no, don't spoil it. So I deleted that, just because I was like, okay, my apologies. And actually a prominent, a big WrestleMania, a big WWE source I talked on the phone with Monday, and I told this source about what happened, and the source said, "Nah, you should have kept it on there." And I said, "Okay, well, interesting. I'm interested that you feel that way." But I said I deleted it just because it was more of a I saw a collective thing. They didn't want it to get spoiled. I didn't want to spoil the Royal Rumble. And so along those lines, I was like, you know what? I don't want to spoil the Royal Rumble with Jay. I know for a fact. I was like, you know what, man? I received a phone call at 8:57 p.m. I have it logged in 8:57 p.m. Confirming something that I was told. There was rumblings that I heard, some things, there was some discussions that texting and things like that. I received a phone call, confirmed it on Tuesday. So I was hinting it before. It wasn't strong enough for me to confirm, but from what I heard, it was strong enough for me to give hints. And so a lot of people, I've even got clips of people of me saying things and things like that when it comes to the Jey Uso stuff. And so so I was like, you know what though? I am not going to spoil it. I'm only going to tell a few people just to keep a paper trail. But at the same time, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to, because if I spoil it on my Twitter, it's going to go everywhere. So many people's like, don't spoil. When it comes to spoilers, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. We don't want to follow you anymore because you spoil stuff. And so, but other people was like, yeah, spoil it. So that's the whole point of like, you can't really, in the emotion that comes with that, you can't use the IWC as a focus group whatsoever. And some phone conversations that I had with some people over the past couple of days that are outside of the IWC and sources within WWE and some really prominent sources, man. It was very encouraging for me to realize, you know what, man, I really started to use X as a platform for this. It was more of a personal type of platform. I kind of integrated into business late last year. I grew like 4,500 followers in like 3 months. And that's cool. And I respect that. But then I started to realize that a lot of the followers were trying to get gotcha moments and just vitriolic and following me just to bash my reports, and the bashing is completely unsubstantiated. And then that ties into, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to spoil it all. Even the people who wanted to see me spoil stuff, I'm not going to spoil it for them either. And so that created a firestorm because I was telling my people on my Twitter that I apologize. I knew it was Jay. I apologized for the Orton thing. And then I also said I knew it was Jay earlier this week, and I didn't spoil that. So I should have kept with the point of me saying that was I should have kept in the don't spoil anything of the Royal Rumble tone and not said anything. That's what I was saying. Although a source, WWE source said I should have, but interesting enough. But I said the apology was, you know what, man, I apologize for the Orton stuff. I knew about Jay. I should have kept. I kept Jay tight-lipped. I should have kept Orton tight-lipped too. That was the point of the post. That created a firestorm, and of course we know what happened there. I'll talk about that on the after party about my views with that. That's different than the class that we're taking now. So that was my even personal experience over the past week of the IWC not being a good litmus test of even me coming to a focus group as me presenting a product to the IWC, or just not even really presenting a product to the IWC. It's more of I'm finding information and posting it on my account. And so people who are following me, they're getting an extension of what I'm receiving, throughout the day or throughout the week or the past few days. That transforms into a bunch of very uncouth people making comments about a report that I'm saying, and just completely baselessly. People I'll get notifications of people, and they're just like, well, you're a liar, and I'm like, you know what? Okay, that's it. I've heard stories of names within the industry, within the business. They've given me specific examples of when the IWC went out against them. I didn't even know. Again, I barely used Twitter like that. That Twitter wasn't a thing that I was on a lot. I had 1,000 something followers, and I was able to build that, from the shows that I have, on Sportskeeda and PNP and things like that. I was able to build that up, but man, I just wasn't frequenting Twitter, and so I wasn't familiar with the IWC like that. I heard a lot about it, but I wasn't too familiar with the IWC. I know now. I know now a lot about this IWC. I was like, you know what? I want to break this down psychologically. I want people who follow me on Twitter and on Facebook. It's on Facebook too, and on YouTube. I wanted people to understand the psychology of what that looks like. What does the IWC mean? What's the psychology behind the IWC? And so, absolutely, man. So, with that being said, they differ from a focus group. They oftentimes their opinions are presented to create a swarm of others in order to feel validated. So we'll get more into swarm theory too, psychologically. But swarm theory is actually swarm intelligence, swarm theory is actually used in a positive way, like within the workplace. But the problem is swarm theory, it comes in within within social spaces, and it becomes very toxic. It becomes very toxic. It's supposed to be good. Like, say, for instance, swarm theory in the workspace, for instance. Say, for instance, there's a handful of people that are considering lunch, all right? And there's some people who are saying, basically, do you want Chipotle? There's three of people who say you want Chipotle. There's one person who said, I want pizza. There's another person saying that I want tacos. All right. So you got Chipotle, you got pizza, you got tacos. Now, typically the three, you think that the group will go to the majority. That's where the swarm is going to the majority. So when it comes to swarm intelligence, that's like the default is the majority. However, when it comes to just swarm level of intelligence, but it also opens up opportunities for people to have differing opinions, and there's a respect level there's a respect level that comes with that, as far as like, okay, yeah, I don't want Chipotle, man. Can we negotiate pizza? Can we do Chipotle tomorrow? And so that actually benefits within like a workplace, or when it comes to decision making outside of the toxic internet. But the problem with a swarm mentality in the internet is because there's so much insecurity, because there's so much disgracefulness, because there's so much emotional instability and a high level of insecurity. I'll even get into the actual research as far as toxicity in social media and how it relates to some mental health issues. And so the swarm mentality, the swarm intelligence, it doesn't really represent intelligence very well when it comes to that, when it comes to social media, because the swarm, what happens is it becomes an automatic boom. Let's all go to this. Let's all go to this person. Let's all go to this thing. I don't care about any type of lack of data, lack of evidence. I don't care about any of that. Because I'm on social media, because I spend so much time on social media, because this has become such a haven for me to get validation and seek attention, then I start to post very, very emotionally unstable comments, and I'm searching for that, and I'm really fishing for that reaction. And so, with that being said, finding pleasure and excitement in showing unhinged behavior while also severely lacking emotional control is unfortunately what we're thinking, what we're seeing, what we observe, and what we can gather from a lot of these people in the IWC. A lot of these people, not all. I mean, P&P, I can say now. I mean, I'm looking at these comments now, and I can say that these people here are not a part of the all. or not a part of the most, because the comments are very very professional, very mature, very emotionally stable. So, but the community as a whole that we've seen with the IWC has become very toxic because of the type of emotions that we're dealing with the people that we're dealing with when it comes to the IWC. So research shows that a link between toxic social media culture and narcissism exists. And these are due to the factors which include validation seeking, entitlement, and exhibitionism. So those, among many other traits that research has shown, is what we're dealing with when it comes to a toxic social media culture. When it comes to the IWC, the validation seeking, the emotional instability, the exhibitionism, the entitlement. That's a big one too. Research shows all of those things factor in when it comes to this types of culture within the IWC. All of those traits exists when it comes to a lot of this culture as a whole in IWC. Now, for those who, and here's the thing, man, regardless of how emotionally stable you are, regardless of how much you've worked the muscle of stoicism, you've worked the muscle of being able to respond with grace, to be able to respond with class, to be able to be an adult and show that your prefrontal cortex and your limbic system and your emotional response system, your amygdala, you show that those things have developed correctly. And you're showing it by the way that you're agreeing or disagreeing or viewing your opinion. That's what it should be. But unfortunately, the IWC, based on those narcissistic traits, and the root of narcissism is insecurity, studies show, by the way. So you can also wrap all that into an insecure blanket and take all of those factors, put it in a blender, and there you go. You're drinking the IWC shake, ladies and gentlemen. And guess what happens? Even people who are emotionally stable can slip up and find themselves getting caught up in some webs of that. And so even the most, everybody falls in the trap. Everybody falls in the trap, man. I've a couple of times I fell in a trap of that, and I was like, you know what, man, stop. First of all, it's not a good look. Second of all, first of all, for me as a believer, as a Christian, it doesn't glorify God. Second of all, it's just not a good look on my overall brand, because there's been so many instances where I am classy and I am graceful when it comes to having those particular conversations with people. And how we think with recency bias, I can have 30 graceful conversations with someone who's emotionally unstable. If I have one conversation that I'm going off and having a fit, that becomes the public's or certain followers, certain gathering of people, that becomes their perception of me. And none of those good things or none of those graceful instances, it doesn't hold as much weight as the one bad thing. That's unfortunately, with negativity bias and different concepts and recency bias, like I said, unfortunately what happens is that becomes more impactful, and that becomes a bigger imprint on people's perception because of that one instance. And so when you're thinking about getting caught up in the web of the IWC, you gotta think about that, man. Because at the end of the day, like interacting with the IWC is like eating like a greasy burger. It might be a greasy, like an unhealthy one. Over 300, ladies and gentlemen, by the way. Great job, great job, great job. Thank you so much for your continued support. Yeah, it's like eating it's like eating a greasy burger, right? So I'm big into fitness. I'm protein. I'm a big protein guy, and I used to eat greasy burgers when I wasn't big into eating better. I would exercise, but not as much. I'm a certified personal trainer as well, but there were times I have a bad back. A lot of people who come on here, they know my story. I have a bad back, though. There was a time where I was so stressed out because of my back issues, probably about 6 or so years ago. For a number of years, man, I gained a ton of weight, lost a bunch of weight, got really big into got started grinding, still am grinding in the gym. And so had a transformation physically. And so my eating changed tremendously as well. And I remember this had to be about 10 years ago. I was eating like a greasy burger and the grease started dripping. I'm like, oh man, this is bad. And so like fast food, greasy burgers aren't a taste that I'm acquainted with anymore because it's distasteful. But then you'll see something on a commercial or something like that. And I'm like, oh man, let me try that out. That's a greasy burger. Yes, it might feel good in the moment, but then like 10 minutes later, you're like, oh, why did I do that? The juice wasn't worth the squeeze, basically. Like it just wasn't like ugh. There's nothing that I got from that in the long run. That's how interacting with the IWC is. It's going back to eating that very unhealthy, nasty, greasy burger. Nasty after the fact. Yes, it might give you the pleasure that you need in the interim, in the momentary, temporary pleasure that you need. This burger tastes good in the moment, and then you're like, man, these taste buds. No, man. My taste buds isn't built for this anymore. That was gross. And so that's what happens when you deal with the IWC. As you start to develop emotional stability, it's like eating better. It's like eating cleaner. And when you start getting yourself caught up in the webs of those IWC community, you're like, do I eat the greasy, nasty, juicy, just unhealthy burger? Like gourmet burgers are great, by the way. I love me a good gourmet burger, a nice clean burger. But just as far as, do you go back to that unhealthy eating for a moment, or do you kind of weigh out the options before you dive into that and you say, no, it ain't worth it, man. It ain't worth it. And so the IWC, I view the IWC as like gnats. And so like when you think of gnats, if gnats are around there, they're annoying. They're annoying. But it's like they're over there. So like there's gnats and flies over there. So they're not like close to me. So like, okay, that's annoying, but you're over there. Whatever. You do you. You do you, boo. But case in point, there were people. There was somebody. I don't know who this person is. Never knew him. Don't know him. I was getting notifications that someone wrote an article about my interaction recently on Twitter. I'm like, man, like that to me, that's a gnat over there. Like, go ahead and write your article. Like, if you want to monetize clicks based on me, like, be my guest. Just be sure to represent me correctly, because that's not journalistic integrity if you misrepresent me. So it probably was misrepresented. I didn't even take the time to read the article. But like, still though, that's still a gnat over there. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you just be a gnat over there. But then when the gnat comes closer, it's like, okay, then I start to swat them. Okay, you're annoying. Just, I'm swatting you. I'll just look at it and just be like, okay. I don't even respond to it. I just swat it. whatever. And then when it comes really close to me, okay, now I got to splat you. Now I got to roast you because you're like in my face. I tried to swat you and then I got to roast you. But here's the thing. The bigger thing, the more healthier thing is to exterminate all the gnats that's around you. And guess what that looks like from a healthy perspective of social media. Research shows that a key to fighting against social media toxicity is to use your platforms to create a positive environment and avoid interaction with negativity. There you go. There you go. So think about it this way. And there was a book that I just read, Dopamine Detox. Solid book. Pretty solid book. And research shows that, and also and that actually was in that book that I just read too. I love reading psychology books, and I love reading books while I'm working out too. And that was the latest book that I read actually. And it was talking about that in that too. And I was like, it's cool to see all of these sources, all these all this literature talk about that. And so the more I pondered on that, I'm like, you're right. I mean, like, you have all full access to delete people, like exterminate the gnats. You have a delete button. You don't know these people from a can of paint. Why the heck are they influencing you the way that you're allowing them to influence you? And it's completely your allowance. It's your allowance to have them influence you the way that they are. Look, there's no attachment that you have with those people. And I'm speaking to myself too, as I'm pondering, and I've been doing this a lot lately. Like I've been trigger happy with the delete button, with the block button on X, because it's like, just scale back and think about this. You don't know this person from a can of paint. You've never interacted with this person, or this person tried to interact with you a couple of times and you didn't pay attention to them. This person's day is made when they successfully seek your attention or try to fish for your attention to ultimately for their personal gain, to massage a insecure bone that is crippling in their body. And there's a muscle that's spazzing out of I'm insecure. And so what they do is they try to seek attention. They want someone to massage that, and they're like, okay, I feel a little better now. I got the attention that I need. And so it's like, no, you don't have to be that. You don't have to be the person massaging that. You can block them. You can be trigger happy with the block button. The socials are for you. It's your social media platform. You can do whatever the heck that you want to do with your social media platform. So therefore, based on the research, from a psychological perspective, use your platform to create a positive community with other people. Why? Because it's your platform. Use it to your benefit. And when it comes to these socials, when it comes to Twitter, when it comes to Facebook, any of this stuff, it's your platform. Use it to your benefit. There's nobody else that's able to log in unless they're hacking or unless they're your spouse or something. Like, there's nobody who's able to log into your account. Why? Because it's your account. Log into that thing. Look at the notifications. Look at people who are wanting to see you in. Look for people who are on your studies show this. Like, go to the research. It shows this. Go to people who are on your team. Go to people who can spend time for you to just take a break from your day and to see encouragement from people. use your social media platforms for that. The more you get close to someone, the more that you can have a friend, increase your level of camaraderie, where you can be more intimate and transparent with people and things like that. That's as you get closer to someone. But until then, man, build communities to get closer to people. No one should. People do, unfortunately, especially with the IWC, but no one should have so much time on their hands. Just think about this for a second. There's no one who should have so much time on their hands in any given day that they are on Twitter all day fishing for posts to comment disgracefully. Think about that for a second. From someone, this is an adult we're talking about. This adult has nothing to do with their life but to go on Twitter and negatively comment on a post or post of someone that they choose to follow. Let me reiterate that for you to think about that for a second. Why in the world would you choose to affiliate yourself in any way with someone who follows you or found out about you, who is spending time in their day sifting through Twitter posts that are non-like confrontational, that are low key, that are very basic? It's not ruffling any feathers. And in my particular ones, they're just news. They're wrestling news. But think about the emotional stability of me reporting something, and then someone's like, "You're a liar," and you don't know blank. And think about that for a second. Think about the emotional stability levels of those type of people. They exist. They're all over the IWC. The gnats are a swarming in the IWC. Why in the world would you not want to extinguish them, exterminate them? Hit that block button. Create a better culture in your particular social medias instead of spending time interacting with someone who doesn't want to see you in anyways. It's a waste of your time that you never get back. I tell that to my clients all the time. Time is currency. It's more valuable than money. If I make a purchase, I have 30 days or even more if I show my receipt to get that money back. If I made a mistake 30 days ago, I can't make that. I can't get that time back. I can never get the time back. So use it wisely. Use the time wisely. Don't interact with people on social media. Use social media as an opportunity to step away from your long day and to be swarmed and receive a shower of encouragement from people who want to see you win. And guess who don't want to see you win? The IWC, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen. That is class for today. All right, let's really, really quick go through a few questions. So without further ado, it is time for the question cave. All right. Be sure to share and let people know about this class, man. This is a pretty fun class. I enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Ask Doc. Hashtag Ask Doc is the way to go. Hashtag Ask Doc is the way to go. All right. Let's do it. Let's see here. There we go. The People's Wrestling Channel's in the building. Fandango returned on NXT tonight. Yeah, I saw that on my social media. I saw that on Twitter. I saw a video of that. So yeah, good for him, man. Good for him. people were saying, it's funny. It's funny. I saw this and I saw WWE post a Twitter. They're like, no one saw this coming, and just the psychology doctor in me. I said, yeah, you did see it coming because you're WWE. So you can't say nobody saw it coming. You did. You sure did, because you were the one who brought him back. So I thought that was hilarious. But I do appreciate him coming back. I mean, I think it's good for him, man. I think it's good for him. I think Fandango was used in a way that wasn't beneficial. He was a heel. The Fandango movement was a thing, man. And it became a thing, and it just faded away. It faded away like a bad flame, like a bad campfire. Just went away, just like that. Thoughts on New Day's new theme? Not feeling it. Not feeling it. I think it just like you should have kept the power of positivity, because I think that would have been a funny type of thing. Like, they're still trying to be positive and the fans don't like them. And so I think that that's the cool part of the New Day gimmick. We're trying to be positive. Y'all still don't like us. We didn't do anything wrong. And so, yeah. What's up, Robert? How was my day? My day was it was tiring, man. I just realized, because I worked on Saturday doing the Royal Rumble post show. And man, I'm just realizing that I worked an entire week straight, man. So your boy is tired. Your boy is tired. And so yeah, I need to get some rest. So thoughts on Duke Hudson being released. Chase U guy, right? I wasn't too familiar with his work. I did see I didn't look at the video, but I saw that there were some things about him making a video of like two versions of himself. I think stuff like that is very creative. Like, you're already, right after your release, you're using content to rebrand yourself. I'm a huge fan of that. Kudos to him for that. Thoughts on this new Evolve show? That would be 6 shows a week, so that during Mania week with Hall of Fame, stand delivered 2-night Mania. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I knew about that. The Tubi gig. I actually, speaking of news, I reported that like 3 so months ago that WWE's about to make content with A&E, Tubi, and YouTube TV. So I reported that October, November probably. And then they announced the LFG for A&E. They announced the Evolve for Tubi. So there you go. There you go. Sally. Hey, Dr. Chris. What's up, Sally? How can I join the Patreon members? I heard you gave out Jay Winning on there. So patreon.com/pancakes and power slams, patreon.com/pancakes and power slams. Robert, I think IWC got more violent tribalism, where people think you got to pick sides between WWE and AEW besides watching it all. I'll put tribalism in trash. Can watch and both companies and enjoy. Yeah, you can watch both. I mean, why not? Absolutely. 100%. 100%. Eric's in the building. What's up? Yeah, tribalism. I've talked about tribalism on previous episodes, man. Tribalism is cray cray, and it is very prevalent in the world of professional wrestling. I love how you use my comment on your Twitter. I'm famous now. Yep. So thank you very much. Rollins in the building. What up, Dr. Chris? The internet changed the game. I mean, yes, they sure did, man. Always not in a good way as well. Do I think the wrong people won the Royal Rumbles? I've said before, I wasn't a fan of Charlotte winning. I don't think she should have won. I don't think she needed to win. Like I said, my philosophy is if you can cut a promo and get into a title opportunity either the same day or the following week, you don't need to win the Royal Rumble. So I'm glad Cena didn't. Jay getting that spot from Jay and Cena kind of putting him over in that way, giving him a rub. I'm a fan. I've been saying Jay. Look at PNP episodes. I made an entire PNP episode last year talking about Jay Uso should win the Royal Rumble. That was, I don't even know when that was. I mean, that was several months ago. That I've been saying Jay. I've been saying Jay Uso should win the Royal Rumble. Matter of fact, that was, let me find out when that Jay episode. That's the reason why you should subscribe to my channel, by the way. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Pancakes and Powerslams, of course. I made a whole episode of Jey Uso should win the Royal Rumble. So that was 8 months ago. Early prediction for the 2025 WWE Royal Rumble winner. Streamed 8 months ago. My early prediction was Jey Uso. 8 months ago. So I've been saying Jey Uso since May the 7th. That's when it was streamed live. So that was about 9 months ago, actually. So yeah, it's been 9 months. 9 months ago, I said that Jey Uso should win the Royal Rumble. That was my early prediction all the way back in May of last year. I've been saying Jay should win the Royal Rumble. I found out that Jay won the Royal Rumble officially last week, but I've been saying Jay for 9 months now that he should win the Royal Rumble, and I stand by it. All right, let's see here. Lots of wonderful, very, very positive comments. Eric, you are on point. You are so incredibly encouraging. DJ, my guy, is heading home from work. Nice. Be safe, my man. Be safe. Elvis, give us a hint who's your new favorite NFL team now. Nope. Not going to give you a hint. Zoo Bears in the building. Thoughts on Smarks turning on Jay and complaining he's only pushed for merch, catchphrase, and yet that's literally how you get over. I mean, exactly, man. That's how you get over, man. Here's the thing. Jay was, and that's the thing. That's the thing with a lot of the IWC. It's not who you want it to be, and you didn't make this person, so therefore you don't approve of him. I mean, that's essentially what happens with the IWC. I didn't make him. He wasn't my guess. He wasn't my Royal Rumble pick. So therefore, I'm not going to cheer him because I didn't have anything to do with him. And the Yeet movement, I didn't start it. I didn't have anything to do. So therefore, I don't want Jey Uso to win because I wanted John Cena to win, and because I'm stubborn, and my openness abilities or my openness to new things, that sucks. And so therefore, I'm going to boo Jay because I didn't vote for Jay. I didn't vote for Donnelly, as Chris Farley would say. Vote for Donnelly. Vote for Donnelly. The GOAT, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Farley. Thoughts on fans complain Jay only does kicks when Lily does more, yet love for vanilla mentions who don't do moves and do only kicks like their precious Daniel Bryan. Again, they're precious Daniel Bryan. Exactly. They're because that's who they feel like. Again, it's attention seeking, it's validation. It's they feel secure because they made this person. The Yeet movement, the fans didn't do that. Jey Uso starts saying Yeet, it caught on, and then it started catching on again. That's something that Jey Uso started doing, and it caught on. That's brilliant. And so a lot of people are saying, "Oh, the kicks." But I mean, but it's funny because they say all the kick stuff, but then people do kicks all the time, and they're like, "Oh man, this is a 5-star match." Again, fickle, 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 and like I said, the IWC will never be a good focus group for professional wrestling. Robert said, I love surprises. When Cena and Jay were the last two, I thought Cena was going to win. They threw us curveball and Jay won. Surprise are good for doing new stuff. Exactly. And that's the reason, one of the reasons why I didn't report anything. Because I wanted Jay. Because like Jay's a surprise, man. I mean, why in the world would I spoil that? I would have gotten more. I probably would have gotten more heat spoiling Jay than I'm getting heat saying I was told Jay. I think I would have got more heat spoiling Jay. So I'll take the bullet by saying, by saying it after the fact. I'm fine with that. I'll take the bullet for that. Because if I would have spoiled Jay, I would have got a ton of heat from that. But like I said, again, understand who your base is and who you want to have on your account. All right, Benjamin's in the building. What's up, my guy? Smarks never liked Jay. I mean, hey, that's Smarks. Again, you're right. But that's Smark culture. Smarks don't like anybody for longer than like 3 weeks. So, Zubair, these fans literally hated Cena, and now they want him to win. I mean, I think about that all the time. Like they hated Cena, now they want Cena to win. Fickle. Daniel Bryan was right all the time. He was right, and that's the thing about Drew was like that last year, man. It's like that's the thing about like cool heels. I always find it really, really cool when a heel can be so right. Like, why in the heck are y'all booing him? Because everything he said is so right. Drew McIntyre was on the money last year when he was cutting his heel promos. Daniel Bryan during his fickle era on the money, because both of them people showed that they were getting booed for stuff that were calling out fans, and they were completely right about it. And that got under the feelings of fans who didn't want to admit that what they were saying was correct. I find that fascinating, ladies and gentlemen. What else I find fascinating is the amazing support that I'm getting here on Pancakes and Powerslams every single week. Tap Out Talk says, I believe the IWC can be what we make it. I always say you are the average of the 5 people you interact with most of in life. The key is just to find the positive ones and share fandom. I don't disagree with that. I think the biggest thing, though, is that the IWC is not a tangible person in your life, though. I mean, that's the thing. That deals. What you're talking about is more the psychology of interpersonal relationships. So that is not the same as dealing with the IWC by any stretch. By any stretch. And so when you're dealing with the IWC, it's a fantasy world of people who want to be in this fantasy all day long. And it's not healthy. So, Benjamin, IWC has been like this for 30 years, and what it is unfortunate, man. Unfortunate. Very, very true. Good show every Tuesday. Keep up the good work. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Patreon.com/Pancakes and Powerslams. We are heading over there, y'all. Go there. Not going to be too long, 20 minutes or so. But, people wanted me to share my feelings about the situation on Twitter. So I'm gonna share with my patrons, and it's probably the last time I'm ever going to talk about it. To be honest with you, man. Moving on. I mean, like okay, next. And people want my take on it and want me to hear me talk about it. So I'll again, my patrons are people who support me. Focus group. Full circle, ladies and gentlemen. Full circle. Eric, just share, man. Share the YouTube link. YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. Well, it looks like you already are. Subscribe on YouTube. Pancakes and Powerslams. Here's the Patreon. We're about to head on over there. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, until next week, enjoy your week of wrestling. God bless. And always remember, I do it for you. Have a good night, everybody. Solo.